Welcome to this training module called Supporting Mexican American Latinx Students Through Empathy and Equity. The information in this training module was provided by the Mexican American Student Service Department's Advanced Learning Experience Program Specialist, Stacy Sadoff, and College and Career Readiness Program Specialist, Connie Lira Saavedra. Latinx is an umbrella term used to describe individuals living in the United States who can trace their roots back to Latin America. The X is used for gender inclusivity. Although we use Mexican American and Latinx in this presentation, that does not necessarily mean that all of our students identify in the same way or have the same experiences. In this module, you will learn how to implement empathy with our Latinx students and how to understand equity and equality in education. You will also get some tips to use while facilitating or teaching to our diverse student population. With that in mind, let's begin. What is empathy? According to Dr. Brené Brown, empathy is what fuels connection. This is a great definition because it brings humanity and relationship building into the definition itself. Empathy is being able to imagine yourself in the other person's situation, or at least an attempt to do so without judgment. Empathy is not feeling sorry for the other person, as this is sympathy. Empathy is important. Empathy matters, and it makes a difference. These statements must be accepted as true in order for one to be able to successfully demonstrate empathy. Empathy is critical when providing support for our Mexican American or Latinx students. As an educator, empathy can have many different definitions, but it should look like a constant attempt to understand and respect students' diverse backgrounds. It means embracing cultural differences and celebrating them. Empathy also means being aware and understanding that students will react differently to situations, even if they are from the same cultural background. An example of demonstrating empathy is not judging our students if they don't fit our perception of what we think they should be. It means avoiding stereotypes or perpetuating these stereotypes unto our students. It means understanding that not all students are poster child students. Let's look at an example scenario. You are an educator in COVID-19 times, and you are facilitating lessons virtually. There is a student of color who is consistently absent to your class. Due to the student's many absences, the student has multiple missing assignments. When the student does attend class, their camera is always off and they do not participate in class discussion. What is your initial reaction to this scenario? Take a moment to pause the video and analyze if you have any biases that have become apparent. Now answer this. In what way should the educator proceed, if at all? Being an educator during uncertain times can be overwhelming. As educators, we must respond to situations with empathy. The scenario in the previous slide is reality for many educators. Due to logistical constraints, our students are not engaging like they were before. Some students are thriving in online instruction, while others are struggling due to the lack of human interaction. Resolving scenarios similar to the previous slide will be extremely useful as we continue to navigate these challenging times. As educators and facilitators, we must do some self-reflection and ask ourselves, am I numb to this scenario, or am I willing to put my biases aside to support my students? The answer should always be the latter. Try to see where the student is at in order to achieve our mission to support our students. What do I know about the student? What is their family dynamic at home like? If these questions are known to you, then your task should be to get to know the student. It is never too late to start building a strong student-teacher relationship. Next, ask yourself how you would act if all you knew as normal was taken away, and it seemed that you had no control about it. In other words, being realistic that some of our students may be facing extreme hardships right now. Lastly, it means trying to identify what is causing the student to disengage in the class material. It means being realistic with oneself and thinking, are the assignments equitable? Are the assignments provided to the student the best way to assess if the students are understanding the material? Students and their families are experiencing education as they never have before. They are trying to navigate this new educational world with the rest of us. These are some of the realities that not just our Mexican American or Latinx students are facing, but our entire student body. Students are facing extreme financial hardships and loss of family and/or community members. A large percentage of our Mexican American or Latinx students at TUSD had already qualified for free or reduced lunch pre-COVID, meaning that they are coming from limited income households. Due to COVID, there has been an increase in the level of unemployment, meaning that in some of our students' households, there has been a loss of employment. It also means that students or parents must take additional jobs in order to make up for the lost income. This can very likely turn to the student being caregivers in their home, or students having to be independent in the sense that they are expected to figure these issues out all on their own. Then there is family loss. COVID has taken many of our elders from us. This especially hits hard in the Mexican American Latinx community, where it is very common for grandparents to live with their children. The reality is that some students and their families might not be able to properly mourn due to the location or travel restrictions. It also means that they may not have the resources to seek counseling after experiencing a tragic loss. There's also a lack of human interaction. This is hard for students because they rely on human interaction as they develop and start exploring who they are. It also means that they are not able to see their friends regularly, which is another area of support constrained or lost. Therefore, being empathetic and responding with empathy is the key for us as educators to best support our students and their families. This will result in creating a partnership with the students, their families, and the school environment. It is coming from a place of understanding and willingness to change in order to support our Mexican American or Latinx students. It means acknowledging that we might be able to give our students equitable and meaningful work as opposed to mindless busy work. What is equity, and how is it different from equality? This image may give you an idea. Take a moment to think about how you define the terms equity and equality. What do those terms mean to you as an educator? Equity and equality are not the same. Equity acknowledges that not every student starts from the same place and that some students face multiple challenges. Equity is providing all students with the needed supports to be successful. Equality is treating every student the same, regardless of the challenges a student may be facing. Let's look at those previous points and provide an example for each one. Equity acknowledges that not every student starts from the same place. Some students face multiple challenges. An example of acknowledging that not every student starts from the same place is realizing that you may have a student in your classroom who is learning English as a second language and may need additional time to complete an assignment. The student is learning both English and grade level content simultaneously. As a teacher, you can provide the student with proper supports to ensure academic success. Equity is providing all students with the needed supports to be successful. An example of an equitable provision of needed supports is realizing that an English language learner in your class will also need native language support in order to be successful in the classroom. You may decide to assign a peer tutor who speaks the student's native language to assist the student. You may also provide the lesson's key vocabulary in the student's native language with the English language equivalent. Equality is treating every student the same. An example of equal treatment is providing all students with the same assignment without recognizing that some students may need additional scaffolding to complete the assignment, while others may need to be presented with more challenging material. Students have different strengths and needs, which requires teachers to differentiate instruction. Educating our students is a team effort. It should never feel like it is just your responsibility. Allow families to be part of the student's educational journey. A great tip is creating a class using the Remind Me app. With this app, students, parents, and legal guardians can choose to opt in to getting text reminders. Another great tip is to ensure that you are sending home bilingual notifications as to eliminate the language barrier. It is important to make your content culturally relevant and not stereotypical. If you have any questions about these tips or other questions in general, please feel free to reach out to the Mexican American Student Services Department by calling us at 520-232-8566 or visiting our website at tosd1.org/departments/Mexican American. The Mexican American Student Services Department can assist you in reaching out to students and their families and also in helping create community among the students' caregivers. We hope you have enjoyed this training. For additional information or support, you can also contact either Stacy Sadoff at stacy.saathoff@tosd1.org or Connie Lira at connie.lirasaavedra@tosd1.org. Congratulations! You have completed the video portion of this training module. Now, please head to topic number 2 and pass the quiz with an 80% or higher to receive credit for taking this course.